going to do something that we haven't done in a while, which is create a campaign. We know very little about the product. We know we have not planned this out. This is all going to be raw,
Let's go.
spontaneous. We're creating the campaign. Come join us.
Welcome back to the Influencer Marketing Show. I am Brad.
I am Joel.
Hello from Detroit. And, you know, Detroit, we should talk about automotives once in a while, huh?
Every now and again. We probably should come back. Who would you like to talk about?
Let's roll.
Should we talk about Ford? Should we talk about GM? Should we talk about Chryslers, as they say in this town?
Oh, man, the old S that's added in Michigan. If you're not from Michigan, it's Panera's, it's Kmart's, it's Myers. Add an S to anything. That's how we roll here in Michigan. Oh, it's terrible, but it's true. All right. But yeah, you know what's funny is let's talk about Ford a little bit because they actually invested in a company, Rivian, which makes them very interesting.
It makes them super interesting. So, okay, here's where we are. This is a landscape really quickly.
Yeah.
Tesla, by far the most valuable automaker in the world. Actually, I want to say it is equal to all the others combined.
Something similar.
Like, I mean, it really is.
Market cap is insane.
All the others combined. Okay, so obviously there's a significant bullish sentiment about the future of EV.
Yep.
Those dollars have only had Tesla to go into. A couple notable options, Lordstown Motors tried to make a run at it, and then Nikola was the other one. Both of those have flamed out in what were, in all likelihood, highly, highly fraudulent enterprises.
Yeah, the EV truck market for Nikola.
Nikola.
Yeah,
Nikola,
okay.
whatever.
Well, anyways, didn't go well.
It didn't go well. Okay, so, but here is a new entrant.
Yes.
There is a challenger on the field. His shield is up, his visor is down, his joust is ready, and he is coming for Tesla. It is, in fact, Rivian. So, we're going to create a campaign. This is all, like, literally, you got to believe this is completely and totally unrehearsed. This is what we do. We're just going to brainstorm together. We're going to say, all right, if you're Rivian, do you use influencer? How do you use influencer? What should we do? What ought we to do to actually help Rivian in the influencer space? Is there anything? All right, so that's the question that we're going to try to answer. Let's start with a bit of a problem statement first.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
like from the business perspective, let's start with a problem statement. Has Rivian made any cars?
Not that are publicly available to ship now.
So they do not. This is a car company that has not actually made any cars. Last I heard, they had about 150,000 pre-orders.
Yeah.
Right?
Shipping January 2022 is the latest I heard.
Okay. All right. So they're gonna ship in a couple months from when we're recording this. So, all right. That's where they're. So I'm gonna assume I'm gonna give Rivian the benefit of the doubt. They do actually have manufacturing capabilities. That they are going to be able to ship these. That it is like they're not going to go the way of Lordstown or Nikola. This isn't all just a very complicated scheme to defraud investors. That this is real. So it's a cool truck. They actually have an SUV that is very, very attractive. If anyone ever grew up in like the SUV era, the Gen Xers like us, that the Ford Explorer, the Toyota 4Runner, and the GMC Yukons and all of that, we love ourselves a good SUV. It's a very, very handsome SUV.
It is,
and then it's of course totally electric. So if that's interesting to us. So all right, the problem statement is they haven't actually produced any cars. So what we cannot do from an influencer perspective is have influencers driving them and verifying, this thing handles great. We can't have people taking it off road. You can't have people testing it, giving it its legit endorsement, right? So that's not going to happen. So what could influencers actually do? And is there a role for influencers to play with Rivian?
Well, first, let me just say that influencer and traditional automotives, not Rivian, been a little bit like oil and water because of the way that traditional automotives are structured, right?
Yep.
I mean, they are good people. They are smart people. They have a very hard time structurally changing their approach. They have a very hard time being able to keep their legal department in an appropriate area of their business.
It's any old company. This would be
Yes,
the same whether it
it's
was
true.
IBM or GE or anything else. You
Yeah.
have massive companies that have huge bureaucracies.
Yes.
You're reminded, and this isn't new, right? One of the greatest lines in Ford versus Ferrari, right? There's a scene where Carroll Shelby is sitting outside of Henry Ford II's office, and he just watches this manila envelope. And then Ford invites him in. He's like, we're going to do this. We're going to build the world's fastest race car. He's like, I just saw a manila envelope hit 16 different people who all had to handle it. How are we going to, and it was speaking to like this massive bureaucracy and all these hands and all these vested interests and all of that. Like, that's why no big automotive has been able to effectively do influencer and sustain it for any kind of amount of time.
And in those big automotive companies' defense, you're talking about a $40,000, $50,000, $80,000 vehicle. So if you're looking for someone to advocate for a product, it's not like Coca-Cola where it's very low cost to say, here, have a Coke. And you're talking about people whose audience is really into their lives. So most of the time, they know what kind of car they're bloody driving. So it's not going to work from an influencer marketing perspective if you just say, oh yeah, just test drive this Rivian. Like, no, that's a terrible idea. But the gift that Rivian has right now is that they're not yet in the marketplace.
Yeah,
so
this is something of a unique opportunity.
A huge opportunity. Because even once they do start rolling out cars in the marketplace, there's going to be a huge backup to be able to actually get your grubby little paws on a new Rivian.
Right.
So you're going to have creators who now could potentially be able to see, touch, feel, test drive, talk about, and encourage people to check out Rivian without having to own one and still be able to be authentic and genuine with their audience. And that's something that the traditional car manufacturers do not have. So actually, Rivian not being in market yet is a huge advantage from a marketing perspective when it comes to influencer.
Yeah. So they actually they can uniquely use them in a way that no other automotive company is able to do right yet. And it's, again, assuming that there's an actual product.
Yeah, that's the first place that I would start in terms of something that's exciting to me. So if I'm Rivian, I'm saying, pun intended now that I'm thinking about it, step on the bloody gas and start on an influencer campaign yesterday to make this work.
On the battery release.
Yes.
Because it's not gas anymore.
Internal combustion engine.
It's battery.
So cold
the electricity
release. V equals
lever. I think that's a great idea. I think there is like the products and features stuff. Like, don't play there yet, and don't go into cargo room. Don't go into whatever. Build excitement around this. Is very likely going to be the first actual electric truck to market. I know Ford's working on their Lightning, and they certainly, from a manufacturing perspective, they've got a leg up. The Cybertruck has yet to actually get produced. Who knows whether that's real or not? But from an SUV perspective, like, this is a legit, from a design, it's a legit SUV that is obvious that it's an electric vehicle, but it's not like, there's not that like, hey, like I'm a rich a-hole that is like, like the Cybertruck is interesting. I get it, but like, who's gonna drive that? Like, you want to look at it, you don't actually want to be friends with anyone that buys one of those.
But no, the Rivian trucks, to your point,
but the Rivian trucks are really great. They're good. They're cool, and they're cool without being totally pretentious, right? So leaning into that right now, where it's like establishing that part of your brand, where it's like, I am like, this is the accessible SUV. This is the SUV that you buy without like, one, virtue signaling, or two, just posturing and like, look at how cutting edge I am or what have you, right? This is actually like potentially like the everyman accessible SUV. And here's the thing for Rivian right now, and this is why I think they need to do influencer. They grab that now before Ford comes into this, because Ford is automatically going to have a massive advantage of the everyman pickup truck. Why? Because the Ford F-150 is the best selling vehicle of, wait for it, all time.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not internationally, because obviously, like, Honda and Toyota have it
from it now.
I'm
so
like,
strong
internationally, in the U.S. No.
Oh,
In the U.S., the Ford F-150 is the best selling vehicle.
No, it's true.
In terms of profitability, whatever. So, like, Ford's going to be coming after that, and so what this is getting back to the influencer thing. If you've got you want this vehicle to be the everyman like you've got a unique, rare, and closing window to be able to establish that before a much bigger, better funded player. Well, maybe not better funded because their IPO was pretty impressive, but you got a much bigger player coming in.
Well, here's the other angle that I think is really interesting with Rivian. So Rivian's a truck company that also happens to have an SUV. But if you go to their website, right, just Rivian.com, you will see that they do not brand themselves with big boulders dropping to the back of a pickup, guys in cowboy hats. They're not playing on man's insecurity of their masculinity.
All the pandering, right?
None of that shit exists. So what I think is unique about Rivian and why influencer again would be a really strong take is that one, they have the environmental angle and they're able to yes have a pickup truck, but try to attract a new audience to the pickup truck market, because people who drive pickups and are really into them, they're going to look at cargo space, they're going to look at horsepower, towing capacity, torque, they're going to look at all the traditional metrics of like the manly pickup trucks that these guys have been fighting over for years. And so that exists for Rivian if they want to play in that bucket, but they can also try to present themselves for now, because to your point, I think it's going to change in the coming years. So we see everyone converging on EV, but for now, Rivian can be differentiated in the marketplace and hit those explorers and those outdoor adventurers and the green folks, and influencers are the place to be for that market.
100%. And here's another reality that Rivian's got to deal with is like once somebody gets a first pickup truck, they don't go back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, once you start and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so functional and so useful. Like, I can't imagine not having the bed in the back. You know, even if most people are only using it on an occasional basis, they're still using it. It's still really relevant, and it's still something like very, very. So again, Rivian, to your point, you can get the explorers, you can get those who might not have, and there's a huge push of between Ram, GM, and Ford right now to get conversions. They're not doing conquest. They're not trying to get someone that's loyal to another brand. They're trying to do conversions. Again, massive and unique opportunity for Rivian.
Yeah, so, again, I think now is the time to strike for Rivian. Once they've been in the market for 2 years, like, one, the market's changing so quickly that some of these advantages are going to go away. And two, it's going to be harder to be able to work with influencers because without giving them a car. So inherently, even if your cost is, to Rivian is $50K per creator, if you're running with 5 creators, boom, you're at $250,000 that you're saving by running with those creators now, and then finding out who really works, and then invest in a truck for them.
By all means.
And
then the truck can become a character in the channel for the right channels and all that. Okay, we should stop. This is the Influencer Marketing Show. That was us rambling about what we would do if we're Rivian. Rivian, if you're watching, more than happy to have a conversation. But no pressure.
Outloudgroup.com.
No pressure. This is fun. Thanks for sticking around. Follow us on social. We will see you next time.